hope you're okay with this being a little... Bless you! Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jennifer Krigbaum and I'm an author mom aspiring to be published someday. And I make YouTube videos documenting my journey to publishing my first book. I haven't announced the title of it, but it's known as WTSR. I don't know, someday I'll announce the title, who knows. So I decided, since I haven't done a more sit down type video, I wanted to do the unfinished projects tag. I believe it was Jessica Tescher. Is that how you say her name? Jessica Tescher. Hold on, I'll have to double check. Hold on. Yeah, I was right. It's Jessica Tescher. So she created the tag, and then Hananya Leclerc, I think. She also did one, and so I decided I wanted to do the tag, but I was a little hesitant to do it because I have a lot of unfinished projects, 75 to be exact. If you like these types of videos, if you like author vlogs, specifically geared toward like being a mom, being a dad, or, you know, if you have kids, be sure to subscribe and follow along on my journey to publish my book. And yeah, without any further ado, let's get started. Sorry, I had to flip through my notebook and now I gotta set it right there. So if you do see me looking down, it's because I'm looking down at my notebook. I hope you're okay with this being a little less structured than my other like sit down videos. But I did want to sit down and do this tag because it looked really fun. And please excuse the, whoa, the lighting is like changing and stuff. Okay, anyway. So I know this is technically the unfinished projects tag, but I wanted to also include my book that I'm working on. It's finished, like its first draft is complete, but all in all, it's not finished. So I'm going to include it in this because it's technically not finished. Oh, I wanted to add too that I forgot, I added a question. I'll leave like all the questions in the description. My question that I added was what inspired the story. Yeah, and this is probably going to be an extremely long video, so grab yourself some coffee or tea and a snack. I'm breaking it down by year, so because like I said, I have a lot. These are all of my unfinished projects ideas for 2016. So first one is WTSR, it's the one I'm working on. I refer to it as Project Wolf. And what inspired this story was a dream. And I think I covered it in my, I think it was the whip tag. The dream was like, there was a naked man and like the scene itself is in the book. I'm not going to go into too much detail. It's nothing weird, but you know, there's werewolves in it. So the next one is H, aka Project Japan. What inspired this story was a dream. The next one is BB, aka Project Beauty. What inspired the story? To kind of give a little bit of context, I am a huge Korean drama K-pop fan. I love Korean culture. A friend of mine got me into K-dramas years ago. I've been obsessed with them ever since. My love for Korean culture is what really inspired the story, and then also the manga / anime skip beat played a huge role. The next one, which is going to, be a part of this collection, is FF, aka Project Foreigner. What inspired the story? There's a channel called Eat Your Kimchi, which they're not really, they don't make videos anymore. But back when they had made a podcast, or they came out with some video talking about what it's like being a foreigner in Korea and Japan, because they've lived in both. And that's what sparked the idea. Next is HH, aka Project BTS. What inspired the story? BTS fanfiction. I was dabbling in like a BTS fanfiction idea, but as I was developing it, it quickly turned into something that like could actually be an original story. And so I'm like, okay, I'll just change the K-pop members around and maybe combine some people. This one specifically is like my love for K-pop. The next one is II, aka Project Idols. What inspired the story? So I was watching like a behind the scenes type of like documentary on the agency that the K-pop, they're not K-pop, they're K-rock, I don't know. The group FT Island, is that how you say it? I think. Yeah, so they're not K-pop. They're a bit like an actual band with like instruments and stuff. So anyway, the documentary was like focusing on them and like the agency and that they belong to. Next is SS, aka Project Girl Group. Nothing in particular inspired this story. I don't know. A lot of these like could have been dreams, but it's been so long, obviously since 2016. I honestly don't remember. And I was in I didn't like notate like what inspired, where the idea came from, like I do now. I make sure to write down like whether I had a dream or if the idea just came to me while I was doing anything in particular. So that's for now the end of that shared collection. There's a few more that come in like later years. Okay, somebody sounds like they're having fun up there. Next is WLIHM, aka Project Amnesia. What inspired the story? Of course, I don't have anything. I just wrote possibly a dream. Oh man, we're getting to like 26 minutes. Next is MIB, not Men in Black, aka Project Vampire. The inspiration for the story is, once again, possibly a dream. Who knows? Next is CH, aka Project Lima. What inspired the story? This one's silly. So I just randomly was thinking, like, is there what's the opposite name for Stockholm syndrome? Just randomly thinking about stuff like that. I had to research it, and it's actually called, I don't know if it's Lima or Lima syndrome, where they develop a connection with their prisoner. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna write a story about that. Yeah? You fell? Yeah. Are you okay? Yeah. Oh, okay. But I have all the pink candy. You ate all the pink candy? Yeah. Okay. Oh, she's gone. Okay, so now we are moving on to 2016/2017 because I don't know. These were all like the stories that were either like I wrote in a notebook and didn't write down dates, or they were in an old computer before I transferred everything to my MacBook. So the next one is WAMTY, aka Project Cats and Dogs. What inspired the story? Possibly a dream, but I think I also just really wanted to write a opposites attract story. Next is UBC, aka Project Kidnapped. This one I do know was inspired by a dream. Next is GOWY, aka Project Childhood Sweethearts. What inspired the story? Next is TP and TP, aka Project Pariah. What inspired the story? Possibly a dream. Next is TF, aka Project Witch. What inspired the story? A dream. The next one is OO, aka Project Fake Boyfriend, and this falls back into the collection of companion novels, set in Korea. What inspired the story? I saw a video one time. It was about renting. You can rent a fake boyfriend in Japan. So that's, yeah, that's what inspired it. We've got so much more to go. And I'm already tired of talking. Next is YOAN, aka Project Superpowers. Possibly a dream inspired this one. I don't remember. Yeah. Next one is OFUYF, aka Project Youth Group. What inspired the story? This one I can't really go into too much detail. This is a very personal story for me. It's gonna have a lot of like my own personal experiences tied into it. Next is TSW, aka Project Tornado. What inspired the story? Actually, what inspired it was listening to the song Blown Away by Carrie Underwood. If you listen to the lyrics, it's a really interesting like setup idea, like a really cool idea for a story. Next is TGAPY, aka Project Dog and Girl. Gotta love these project names. What inspired the story? Okay, this is a very specific inspiration. A long time ago, I watched this video. It was like this dystopian video about dogs. It was an animated video, and they were like cyborg infused dogs. Oh, I wrote down. Okay, so it's called 86 by Sumiko Onisan. I'll put like if I'm editing, I'll put like pictures and like the names of things or whatever. So that was a huge inspiration, but then I also saw the movie Plague Dogs, which, yeah, that's gonna mess you up. Those two were like the huge inspirations for that. Next is WHASAL. Well, these acronyms are getting really long. This is, aka Project CPR. What inspired the story? This one was a dream. Next is SRAB, aka Project Police Romance. What inspired the story? I think I was thinking what would happen, like what would be the procedure if a pregnant woman went into labor while she was driving and had to be like escorted to the hospital. That was my mind. I was just thinking about that. I don't know what the context is of that thought. Next is TIE, aka Project Energy Ball. What inspired the story? This one was a dream, but also a mixture of the anime movie Your Name. If you haven't seen it, it's really good. Moving on to 2017. These two stories I know for sure were 2017. First is NN, aka Project Nanny. Oh, and this falls into the Korean companion collection. What inspired the story? This again is a very specific inspiration. So there is a Korean variety show called Return of Superman, where it's just basically following these dads where they, the moms go off and do stuff outside of the house and they get to stay home with the kids, and it's super cute and super wholesome. And I was also watching it pretty religiously because I was at the time trying to learn Korean. So I was trying to like just have it on in the background and like listen to how they were casually speaking. And one of the dads, his name is Song Il-guk, and he has triplet sons, Daehan, Mingguk, and Manse, and they are just the cutest little boys ever. Anyway, so he and them, they were a huge inspiration for one of the characters, actually a few of the characters in the story. Next is KON, aka Project Sleeping Beauty. And this is the beginning of what I like to call my fairy tale retelling kick. So there's gonna be a lot of those in here. They're actually kind of like mashups of other fairy tales. I keep looking at myself, I'm so sorry. So that's the end of like the very specific 2017. I know for sure the ideas came to me in 2017. Next is 2017/2018, because again, I was not keeping track of these ideas. Okay, so this one is OTR, aka Project Disneyland. What inspired this story? So a little background is I used to work at a physical therapy office, and so we had a patient that told me, I remember like I was sitting at the front desk and she was telling me the story about how she was divorced and went to Disneyland with her kids, and actually ended up meeting somebody at Disneyland, and they fell for each other, and I was just like, and so I kept that, I filed that away somewhere in my brain, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to write a story about that. And I know obviously you don't touch Disney with like a 20-foot pole, so the theme park is gonna have to change, but the bare bones of the story is still gonna be there because I love it so much. It's so cute. So it's gonna be like just this fun theme park themed. I would like to come up with some fun ideas of like hinting that it's Disneyland without actually like coming out and saying it's Disneyland. Okay, next is BME, aka Project Marriage. This one was inspired by a dream. I just realized that there's a pair of jeans on this chair. Next is TB, aka Project Western. What inspired the story? Playing way too much Red Dead Redemption 2. And it's funny because what did I say this was? 2017, 2018. I remember, because I subscribed to Natalia Lee, when she announced her story, Pistol Daisy, I was like, oh no, I hope people don't think that I'm stealing her idea, but I promise I'm not. It just like that's where she got her idea, was from playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and I just so happened to also be playing Red Dead Redemption 2 and came up with this idea, but the stories are relatively different, so I think it's gonna be okay. I promise I'm not copying Natalia Lee. Next is TBWT, aka Project Christmas Carol. What inspired the story? A dream. Fairy tale. No, it's not a fairy tale. It's a classic. It's just a retelling, reimagining of Christmas Carol. I don't know. She's basically, I was gonna say she's Scrooge McDuck, but oh my gosh, that's the Mickey's Christmas Carol. She is Ebenezer Scrooge. Oh, so dumb. So I didn't have anything like specifically for 2018. But then I also have like 2018/2019. So wait, oh, it's just one. Yeah, so I guess I can't differentiate whether this is 2018 or 2019. I also got pregnant in 2019 with my first daughter, so no, 2018. No, I had her in 2019. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I got pregnant in 2018, had her in 2019. This could be the start. I think this is the start of the pregnancy dreams. And if any of you have had babies, if any of you have been pregnant, you know the dreams that you get are like super detailed. So yeah, there's a lot of ideas that come after this. Okay, this is B, aka Project Gladiator. This one was inspired by a dream. Yes, okay, so this was pregnancy dream, I remember, because it was very vivid, and I woke up and I was like, oh, I gotta write it down. Next is 2019. First one is TK, aka Project Zoo. What inspired the story? I think possibly a dream, but I think I just really wanted to write a story about zookeepers because once upon a time I wanted to be a zookeeper when I was little. Next is WFYC, aka Project Call Rep Romance. So this one it's kind of like the excuse me. This one's kind of like the Disneyland where like I remember a specific situation where the idea came to me because I was in I think I was in like a mom Facebook group, and one of them had posted like, how did you meet your husband? And I remember one of the moms posted that she met her husband because he was her call rep agent. And I was like, that's cute. Next is ILB, aka Project Little Mermaid. Once again, part of the fairy tale retelling kick that I was on. This one specifically, I just remember thinking like, I want to do The Little Mermaid, but I want to do a horror twist to it. Next is WTHCB, aka Project Bullied. This one was inspired by multiple dreams. Like I remember I had different dreams at different times, but they all had like this central theme of being bullied. So I was like, I'm just gonna combine them into one story. So that's what I did. Just out there. Next is RFTE, aka Project Enemy. This one was inspired by a dream. It's funny because in the dream, I remember there being a lightsaber. So for a while it was just Project Lightsaber. But then when I thought about actually writing the story, I'm like, why would I can't, there's not gonna be a lightsaber in there. So I took that out. But the basic general concept is still there. They're not gonna have lightsabers. Next is WO, wait, what? Can't read. Oh no, there's somebody outside. TOWF, geez Louise, aka Project Neighbors. Speaking of neighbors. This one was inspired by a dream. I remember it was a dream because it was a nap dream. I don't know why that is significant, but it was a nap dream. Next is SWWY, aka Project Summer Camp. Again, another dream-inspired story. The next one is AMNL, aka Project Black Cat. This one was inspired by a dream, and I remember because it had had Colin Farrell in it. Apparently that's who I saw as the character. Next is IIFTLC, ooh, aka Project Con Artists. I don't remember what inspired this story. Next is TOO, aka Project Twins. Also, just a heads up, I apparently really like to write stories about multiples, so there's gonna be multiple stories about twins. What inspired this one? A dream. Next is MMM, aka Project Delivery. This one was inspired by a dream. Next one is the last of the Korean companion collection. Yeah. You fell down and sister's so sad? Yeah. Oh, okay. Are you okay? Okay. Okay. Okay, so this is the last of the Korean collection. This one is AA, aka Project Annie. For the inspiration, I remember I kind of fell down this rabbit hole of watching like adoption related videos. Next is C, aka Project Doctors. What inspired this story? I don't remember if it was like a dream or anything, but I do know that the show Scrubs played a huge part in the inspiration. And then there was also this manga I read called, I'm not going to pronounce this correctly, so please forgive me. Koi wa Tsuzuku yo Dokomade mo, something like that. If you've seen Scrubs, it's kind of like, I love Dr. Cox. He's one of my all-time favorite characters on that show. I like Dr. Cox. And then the other character, the love interest, the main character, falling in love. I just love Dr. Cox. Next is FFAF, aka Project College Romance. This one was inspired by a dream. Next is SYR, aka Project Community Service. I don't remember what inspired the story. Next one is IBAH, aka Project Homeschooled. What inspired the story? I really wanted to write about a character that was homeschooled, kind of inspired by one of my best friends. She had been homeschooled her entire life. Hi Brianna, if you're watching this. She was homeschooled her entire life up until freshman year, and that's when I met her, and we both met in choir. And at first it was only 3 girls, and then the one girl dropped out and it was just me and Brianna. So instead of a choir, it was just a duet. And I remember we performed for Christmas recital, and some of the people were kind of laughing at us because we were supposed to be like a choir and it was just 2 girls, but we knocked it out of the park because we got a standing ovation. So, and now we're getting into 2020 and the lighting is changing again. The first one for 2020 is TRU, aka Project Bachelor. And what inspired this story was a friend of mine from high school auditioned for The Bachelor, and I was like, ooh, that would be a really cool story idea. Just like the behind the scenes of it. You want a hug? Okay, hold on. What are you doing? You go on here. Oh no, you can see my mess. Where was I at? Next is WHUAN, aka Project Red Riding Hood. Once again, part of the fairy tale retelling kick. Next is LOCAA, aka Project Cinderella. This one was another fairy tale retelling thing, but also I was watching Downton Abbey, and just like the aesthetic of the show really inspired me for that. The next one is Yatsy, YATSY, aka Project Snow White. This is another fairy tale retelling. It's a YA fantasy adventure. This one is actually really fun because it's going to take a lot of Japanese mythology and stuff like that. So I've been really excited for that because I love that. Next is WOTU. I don't know if I'm going to keep the title that I had picked out, but it's Project Guardian Angel. And then the inspiration for this was a mixture of a dream and also, if anyone has seen the Korean drama Goblin or Guardian, the premise of the Guardian Angels is very similar to the Reaper. I love that so much. That's kind of where I got the idea. Next is SE. It's also Project Step Siblings, and hold the phone. So I just want to put a disclaimer. This is not a romance between step siblings. Just want to get that out there. The inspiration for the story was I was not liking some of the things that I was reading. I was reading some manga where the step siblings were getting together, and I didn't like that. It just was weirding me out. So I was like, I'm gonna write a story that subverts that trope. I'm trying to remember. Okay, so I think I wrote it down. The manga that I do like that doesn't really go fully into this. Omoare. Oh gosh, I don't know how to pronounce that. I'll put the thing on here. I'm not even gonna try. That one I liked what they did, because at first you're like, oh, something, it's gonna lean into that trope, but then they kind of subvert it. And then there's another one, Zetai ni Tokomaite, Te wa Ikenai? I'll put the thing if I can find a picture of it. I can't remember. I honestly, that one in particular, I don't remember. I don't think I even read it long enough to know whether they actually do the thing. They do the step sibling trope. But I know that the one I mentioned first, that one they don't, which I like. And then another inspiration was the show Life with Derek. I used to watch that a lot. I just wanted to get that out there because I didn't want people to think that I'm like writing a step sibling love story. Next is FIW, aka Project Alice in Wonderland. Falls again under the fairy tale retelling kick. Next is BSAS, aka Project Peter Pan. This one, oh, okay, so I think this is what kickstarted this like fairy tale retelling thing that I had going on, because the inspiration was I was watching John's solo videos where he goes into like the messed up origins of fairy tales, and I remember he was doing one on Peter Pan. That's where I got the idea to do fairy tale retelling. So yeah, that's okay. It's all coming back to me. This is like also a mashup of another classic that I'm not gonna reveal because it's kind of a twist, but that's gonna be really exciting to write. Next is WTMLU, aka Project Road Trip. I have no idea what inspired this one. Next is AJLY, aka Project Impractical Jokers. What inspired the story? Impractical Jokers. My husband and I watched a lot of Impractical Jokers for a while there. Next is MTAC, aka Project Celebrity. So okay, what inspired the story was there was a video of Henry Cavill that he was building his computer. If you've seen the video, then you know. And it started making me like wonder if he's such a gamer, then he has to interact with like normal non-celebrities, right? If he's playing like online games. So then it just made me think of like, oh, like what if it was about a celebrity like falling in love with like a non-celebrity? Next is FCOAS, aka Project Love Square. If you thought Love Triangle was bad. This one is actually inspired by a dream. Next is MTWA, aka Project Long Distance. What inspired? Oh, it's a dream. Next is WBAN, aka Project Blind Date, and again, this is following the disclaimer with the step siblings story. This one is about a relationship with a woman and a former high school teacher, not a minor, and a teacher. Yuck, gross. So the woman is a fully developed woman in her career, like starting her career. There's plenty of time apart from when they've spent time together, and there was no romantic feelings whatsoever. They pretty much did not like each other. So they meet again later when they're both consenting adults. Just wanted to get that out there. I don't like that kind of thing. I don't like student-teacher relationships. This one was inspired by a combination of a dream and a Korean drama that I had been watching. It's called School 2017. That's a fun enemies to lovers type thing. Next, SL 1921, aka Project Confession. I am not sure what inspired this story. Okay, we're moving on to 2021. We're getting there, yay! The first one for 2021 is CNL, aka Project Parent Trap. If it's not obvious enough, the inspiration for the story is the Parent Trap, but also a dream. I had a dream about it. And again, this is what I was telling you. There's more than one twin story. Okay, next one is BTV, and that one's or aka Project Villain. Okay, so the inspiration for this story is that I read way too many villain reincarnation webcomics. So many. Next one is MAMD, aka Project Roommates. For the inspiration for this one, I was looking at like reverse harem stories and was like, I want to write reverse harem, but like a subverted reverse harem. I'm getting tired. Next is FMK, aka Project Time Travel. The inspiration for this one was a dream, and also kind of like the villain reincarnation webcomics. There's a lot of like time travel where the character dies and then gets sent back so they can like change the outcome of the story. The next one is TEYK, aka Project Haunted House. This one was inspired by an idea that came to me when I was up with my youngest daughter from midnight to 5 in the morning. Next is TTWE, aka Project Split. This one was inspired by a dream. We're almost done, guys. I think. Are we almost done? Yes. Okay, we're almost done. Next one is OOM, aka Project Concert. I don't remember what inspired this story. I think it was a dream. I want to say it was a dream, but I don't remember. Next is TDP, aka Project Resident Haunting Ground. The inspiration for this was like a mixture of The Walking Dead, and then I remember I was watching gameplay because I like to watch people play video games instead of actually playing video games because I don't have time to play video games anymore. People playing video games of Resident Evil 4 and Haunting Ground. So I got the idea from watching those. Next is TMOAB, aka Project Beauty and the Beast. What inspired this? This one was actually a specific inspiration. I remember because we visited my husband's extended family in Colorado, and I was pregnant at the time with my youngest, and I was having some pregnancy insomnia, so I could not fall asleep, and that's when I kind of came up with the idea. And I remember I was reading one of the web comics, like a webtoon. No, was it a web comic or webtoon? I don't know. It's a webcomic, and it's called My Secretly Hot Husband. Oh my gosh, the names. But like the image of his mask or whatever inspired me, and then also the manga Devil's Line. Their fangs, their stuff. That made me like think of what the beast would look like. I wrote, instead of fantasy, I wrote family, so it's adult family romance. Next is TIWM, aka Project First Impressions. This one was inspired by a manga that I read, Kawaii Nante Kitanai. I don't know if that's the right way to pronounce it. And we finally move on to 2022. There's only 4 more, and then we're done. For 2022, these ones don't have like acronym names because I haven't spent any time like trying to come up with names. So these are just projects. So the first one is Project Military. This one was inspired by a dream. Next is Project Paranormal Academy. What inspired the story? A dream. Next is Project Rat Race. I think, yeah, it was a dream that inspired this one. Next one's called Project Murder Pit. This one was inspired because I was watching one of Kate Kavanaugh's videos about titles. Hi. I'm almost done. I'll give you a hug in just a minute, okay? I love you. Bye. Okay, so I was watching a Kate Kavanaugh video about book titles, and I don't remember if maybe I saw one of the titles that she was like throwing out for people to use, but yeah, I came up with an idea from one of the things, I think. And with that, finally done. We made it through all 75. I hope that was 75. I hope I actually counted it correctly. I'll have to double check. And believe it or not, there's more if you think about the potential for sequels. And that is not even including my fan fiction projects. Not even gonna go into those. But anyway, I hope you liked the video. If you want to do this tag, please do so and let me know so I can watch it. And if you want to see more stuff like this, subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, and let me know if any of these actually like that you're excited for, which ones were your favorites. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.